This is the Radar RD6 ECON, a full EV pickup, and here are the numbers you need to know about it. 200 mm, that's how much longer this long bed edition is versus a normal pickup truck. And you can really see it here with how wide this thing is. 955 kilos. So compared to a normal pickup truck, a diesel one that can hold 1,000 to 1,100 kilos, this EV, batteries and all, can still hold almost that full amount here in its long bed. That's just around 2 to 4 sacks of rice you're missing out on. 815 millimeters wading depth of this pickup. So again, being a full EV, batteries and all, it can still compete with a diesel pickup. And the most important number of all, 1,598,000 pesos. That's a price you'd normally associate with an entry-level manual truck. But this one gets you all that and more. Is it worth it? Ask me for Zigwheels.Ph, and here's our review of the Radar RD6 ECON 4x2 long bed edition. So design-wise up front, the Radar is neither super modern nor macho like a normal pickup truck. My favorite part easily are the LED DRLs surrounding the halogen projector headlights. They do a good job at night. The DRLs really give most of the aggression here in front because this grille has some chrome, which I would prefer to be blacked out on a honeycomb ridge-like design along the grille. Being an EV, it doesn't need that much air vents, so you do have them down here. While here, they are purely for design aesthetic. And under the hood, you'll find the front trunk pretty sizable. The Radar badge makes an appearance here up front. Big badge could have been even bigger if they used the Radar name that they use in other markets. And overall, especially in this gray colorway and in this weather, it does have a tamer look up front than other pickups. It doesn't bring much attention to itself. But when you go to the side, you'll see that it's a pretty chunky boy indeed. It's a unibody pickup truck, so unlike a normal pickup where there is a gap behind the cabin and the bed compartment here, it's just one whole thing. Especially if you open the door, you'll see it's all attached. So that's something new for the market locally. Even other PHEV pickup trucks like the Shark or the Hunter still rely on the traditional ladder-on-frame design. And the advantage of going unibody is you get SUV or crossover-like comfort. That's what they say, at least. And when we drive later on, yeah, we actually will confirm it for you if this is as comfy as they say. There's not much body cladding on the fenders here, or not much fender actually. In fact, it looks recessed rather than bulked out like normal. They do put a bit of trim here, a bigger one by here, and no step board to subtract from the 220 millimeters of ground clearance. As mentioned, you do have 815 millimeters of wading depth, but we wouldn't want to do that much because I think these tires are a bit skinny. 225 wide, 17 in diameter, highway rated, and I think that makes it look like the RD6 could use a bit of leg day, especially with how big this expanse looks. Like for some reason, this looks bigger. The cheeks, the butt cheeks of the car looks bigger than a normal pickup, and might be an effect of the unibody design, might be an effect of the fenders being smaller, and overall it makes it like look at this huge expanse, like you can put a sticker here. Now here in the back, the Radar RD6 has a bit of an unusual design for its taillights. So while normally pickups would have vertically oriented lights here, this one, it's a horizontal setup. In fact, it looks like it uses a light bar with how it's done. And in effect, what happens is your taillights with a nice design are really small looking compared to the macho full-length design you usually see. What they do have that's full-length though is here in the bumper, it's a full rugged look that you can use as a step board any part that you want to ride on. So that's one point for function. And when you open the assisted tailgate, the bed is around 200 millimeters or like say half a foot longer than a normal bed since this is a long bed edition, and that makes loading things easier. And underneath, you do get a space-saving spare tire. Again, a nice touch for an EV, which we're getting used to not having spares at all. All right, now inside the RD6, and my first impressions of the interior is it's a bit dated looking. So it's nice that you have black hard-wearing trim on almost every surface. No piano black here, you just have some brushed aluminum inserts. But the design, especially around the aircon vents, seems like a last generation thing. Design-wise, at least, that's what I don't like. Like you do have like some nifty touches, like a dual level here, so you can either close the door from here or here on top. But then look at the design of it. It's big and bold and too attention-grabbing for me. But again, it looks like it's gonna stand the test of time. And they did manage at this price point to still put in some soft touch material. So you do have soft touch material here and here on the dashboard. The steering wheel though is a polyurethane thing, but it does have a full range of adjustment for reach and rake, so not budget car like up there. Behind it, you have a digital cluster, 8 inches, along with an 8-inch infotainment system, which is rudimentary. No Android Auto, no Apple CarPlay. You just have your Bluetooth mirroring. And it's good that you have a screen because aside from that, there are almost no physical buttons in this car. You have your electronic parking brake, you have your start-stop switch, and your headlight adjuster here. Everything else, including the AC, must be managed through the infotainment system, and that's one minus point for me. I prefer having physical controls, at least for the AC. So this one, single zone, it does the job, but you have to access it from the screen, so you can't actually just do it by feel. Other features here on the screen is, this is where you'll see your drive modes, which takes a bunch of clicks, which is not ideal. And for some reason, they even separated your region setting away from your drive mode. So it's here under safety, lighting settings, and some other rudimentary features like TPMS. But aside from that, there's really not much to talk about in terms of tech here. In a nice touch though, that this does have 4 speakers at least, which is 2 more than you might have expected to find in an entry-level priced vehicle. For the seats though, they are leather wrapped with a bit of carbon fiber like garnish here, and they're pretty comfy. It's 6-way adjustable, so right now I've dumped the seat almost all the way down here. It's all the way down, my preferred driving position. But if you want, you can bring it up. No power options here, but it does the job, and the bolstering is just enough. Not too soft, not too hard, just right. And we haven't tested their implementation of leather in the heat because it's been raining, but so far it's doing a good job. There's no wireless charging either, but you do have a nice amount of cubby holes here, and the shifter feels good in your hand, and it has something like I would call a safety feature. So unlike other cars where you can go from drive straight into reverse, or from park all the way into drive in one pull, this one always stops at neutral first, and you have to double tap before you can go into reverse. So for example, you start in park, tap to go into reverse. If you want to go back into the drive, pulling it once won't work. So again, start from reverse and tap into drive. So it makes you a bit more mindful of what gear setting you're getting into, and that's good for maneuvering because sometimes you're in a rush and you actually go chuk like that, and EVs being instant with their torque and acceleration after all, that might cause some SUA issues. So yeah, here, avoid that. I'll also have to take another point off the RD6 for having just one USB port in the whole car, and it is a Type A up here in front. You do have a 12-volt power outlet here under the 2-level center stack, but having one USB port in a car feels a bit lacking. I'd forgive it if there's one here, one in the back, but here in the back, there's nothing. You do have a cubby hole, 2 cubby holes in fact, but no AC vents and no USB port there. For the fit though, let's check it out. And now here in the back seat, I did mention this is a long bed edition with its big cheeks back there, but also I do have a lot of space here in the second row. So my driving position is really pushed back more than a normal person, aside from me being 6'2". And I still fit here in the back. My knees are just shaving the back seat, and I'm sure I can give an inch or so here in front for me to sit comfortably. The seats do feel a bit high. I feel like I'm sitting on top of the driver, on top of the car, like a stadium-like, which is something you do see in pickups and SUVs. But the floor, super flat, and my feet really have a lot of room under the seats in front. No recline option here, and the seats do feel stiffer than the one in front, but with all the space here, like headroom for days, I think it's more than enough to trade off a bit of seat stiffness for the space you're getting here in the back. And definitely I have 2 people here, no problem at all. As mentioned though, no AC vents, no USB ports here, so rear passengers, all they have to enjoy is the space. Will they also enjoy the drive? Well, let's find out. Alright, behind the wheel of a fully electric pickup truck. So this one makes 245 PS and 309 Newton meters of torque from its single electric motor, which is very good for a pickup truck. The numbers aren't the usual 400 to 500 Newton meters you might find with a diesel-fed one. But because it's an EV, it definitely has enough to push you back into your seat when you need it. I don't really think you need those crazy output numbers for an everyday car, like, or a work pickup, especially in an EV where everything happens on tap. So the 245-300 number is decent in my opinion, and driving it super drama free. It has no transmission, so on off your power whenever you want it, whenever you need it. And maybe the biggest thing I have with driving this is the brakes took a fair while more getting used to than I normally take when transferring from different cars. So this one, for a few days, I was like juddery on the brake pedal because I couldn't get quite used to how it feels. But when it comes to actually stopping the thing though, they feel sure enough. I'm just pretty off with the brake pedal mapping. So learning curve on the start, but after that, smooth sailing. I think one more thing that affects my braking here though is when you let go of the brake pedal here from a full stop and it does its initial crawl, it jumps forward more than I'm used to for a diesel or even an EV. And I think they did that because the expectation for this thing is to be fully laden down with weight, and you don't want it to feel that sluggish off the line. So I can live with it overall, just there again, a learning curve. Now let's get to the highlight of the truck for me, and that's its NVH and ride quality. So as I mentioned outside, this is a unibody truck, and if you haven't experienced a unibody truck, most probably not, because we don't have much of them yet, or any, I think, then it definitely lives up to the SUV or crossover comfort level that they say it'll have. So over bumps here, rumble strips, big potholes, it really does ride over them, not like a pickup truck at all. And add to that you do have your multi-link rear suspension in the back, not leaf springs. As you can see, I'm riding through the truck lane on C5 on purpose. And my voice isn't going all over the place. I'm not bobbing all over the place. And this is a pretty bad road. See? Good job, unibody construction. In the terms of ride quality. And being an EV, you also get so much in your NVH by not having any diesel noise at all. For safety, this thing is pretty bare bones. You do have your reverse camera with backup sensors. You have your hill hold, hill descent control, airbags, traction control, ABS, but no smart features, no ADAS features here. And for us, that's pretty much okay. It might be nice to have a 360 camera, but again, having a rear one, even with its low resolution, is pretty much the minimum for a truck. And we're just happy that it's here. And one last feature it does have is cruise control. So nice to have, especially if you plan on taking advantage of the range of this truck and taking it out on the highway. You can see the rain has caused traffic to stand still. And it's a good thing we're in the variant of the RD6 ECON with the biggest battery, 73 kilowatt hours, which gives it an NEDC rating of 443 kilometers. As tested, we get closer to around 390 to 400. Which actually puts you in line with the NEDC rating of the 4x4 version of this, which is 390. And charging that, you do have fast charging capability here, though you do need to use the GBT standard, so it's not the much more common Type 2 standard, and it'll get you your usual 30 minutes from 10 to 80. And if you do choose AC charging, well, the usual 6 to 7 hours when you do it at home. So 390, call it 400 kilometers range for a work truck. I think that's still not the best, especially if you plan to deliver, like, say, out of town and plan to do it back and forth, maybe more than one trip a day. But for city use, definitely good enough. And I didn't feel range anxiety much in this pickup versus other cars with sub 300 or 300 kilometer range. That extra 100 or call it 90 km really does a lot. That's like 1 or 2 days of daily driving depending on your use case. So if you're just taking this back and forth, you can really just gas up once a week, or maybe even once every week and a half depending on your route. And for a pickup, and avoiding how crazy diesel prices is right now, that makes this really attractive in terms of running costs. And backing up that battery, you do get your 8-year warranty, or 200 kilometers, 200,000 kilometer warranty from Radar. And I think that's peace of mind for you to choose it to go full EV, because they do have the PHEV version. So going back to the price, 1.598 million pesos, and that's really, really good. Again, as I mentioned, that puts you in the entry-level diesel pickup range, there would be cheaper ones, but usually those would be the base models, manuals, no automatic transmission. And here you get your, well, it's not an automatic, but basically single speed EV, so easier to drive, and the ride quality, as I mentioned, is the same. The dimensions are competitive, the loading capacity is there, and the range, pwede na. It's a far cry from 800 kilometers per full tank, 1,000 kilometers per full tank with a diesel, but then again, how much are you just spending on a full tank of that? Probably less than 1,000 pesos when charging with, home Meralco rates. And one thing like you might be thinking is, okay, 1.5M, that's cool, but this is a new China brand, it's cheap. Is it safe? Is it something that has longevity? Well, actually, this brand is a sub-brand of a familiar one that you might already know, the number 2 brand in China, which is Geely. So there's actually some bits around the car which say Geely if you look around. So this one might not be distributed by Geely, it's under the Uwagi group, but knowing that this has Geely technology and like the might of Geely behind it in its homeland, does this make it feel more legit in your eyes versus other smaller brands that you might just have heard of now? Let us know in the comments down below. And while you're at it, like and subscribe to our channel for more reviews and stuff you can watch on a rainy day like this one. So once again, Ash Maynere for Zigwheels Philippines. Thanks for watching.